where they indoctrinate your kids from kindergarten age throughout school, right? To become atheists, to become homosexuals.
In the kindergartens there, they have this time where the kids take their clothes off and they can explore each other's bodies.
I'd rather get robbed, lose my iPhone in Egypt, never happened, but let's say it happened, than to make kufr and go to Jahannam.
I saw all the khair that Allah brought me from moving to that country after we made the move.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, like, where's your husband? What's going on? My husband, I haven't seen him for 15 years.
You don't have any skills. Learn a skill.
Learn a skill.
People can tell you this, people can tell you that, but you never actually know for real until you get there.
Exactly. The war against Iman that's going on in Europe is extremely, extremely intense.
What safety is there for Black Americans? When I'm driving down the street, when I see a police car, I don't feel safe. I feel like, oh my God. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, we sit in front of you with 19 years in between us of Hijrah experience. So today, instead of giving you facts that you can look up on Google, we're going to attack the top Hijrah objections that's stopping you from making Hijrah. So we'll jump right into it, Ya Fatima. A lot of things that we hear. The first one is, I need to know everything before I make Hijrah.
Yeah, we hear that quite a lot. They want all the information, like the prices of tomatoes in the Saudi versus Egypt. That is not going to make a difference in terms of you actually making Hijrah. Having information does not equal action, right? It's almost like people are sitting, waiting to have this 5,000 piece puzzle ready, and they can see the picture, the surah in front of them, not understanding that you actually build that step by step by taking action. You take one step, you get a bit clearer of a picture. You add another piece until you have the picture. So I think, honestly, I think it's not really the information that's the issue, because if it was, I mean, we're in 2026. There's an information overload. You can figure out anything. The problem is that we're just using that as an excuse internally to really attack the deeper fear, I believe, which is probably something else. We don't live in an age where information is the problem anymore. We actually have too much of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like people are always asking so many questions. They want to know about this country, the prices, where do I go for this? Oh, what can I do for this? Are the schools like this? Like, okay, Aslan, of course you want to ask questions about a particular place, but you're never going to know every single thing about a place that you've never been.
Right.
People can tell you this, people can tell you that, but you never actually know for real until you get there.
Exactly.
And it's not until you get there that you're able to understand and digest and create that new, basically adapt to where you are. Because a lot of people, they're in their own countries and they have this particular mindset, okay, I go to this school, I do this like this. It's a certain way that you live in your own country. You cannot live that way in another country. It's a different environment, it's different people, it's a different way of life. So in order to be in another country, you have to go there.
Exactly.
Period. And a lot of people, I think they believe that they have to up and move everything, sell their home, like at the instant, but you don't have to do that. You could go to that country and experience, like visit that country first.
Exactly.
You'll get an idea how that country is.
Exactly.
After you do that, make the move.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you said there is so important. Like, you can only adapt after you've exposed yourself to something. So I think that, unfortunate, because a lot of us, at least the audience, I believe, we're raised in the West. So even if you are a Muslim and you grew up in a Muslim family, probably the system raised you more than your actual home and your actual parents. And in the West, we've been preconditioned to understand a certain methodology of cause and effect. And you're looking for this effect of safety, feeling safe, and you believe that you need a certain amount of information to feel that safety, rather than understanding that you're doing this for the sake of Allah and He will surely provide for you, you're taking that asbab, the means, the reasons for achieving something, and you're not going to have the picture is not going to be clear from the get-go. When I first moved to Egypt, I did not know everything. I didn't know about all the different marakis and how the system works, and the mustawas are constantly on. That's the opposite of Europe, where you usually have one term that you can apply to, like summer, after the summer, we start a particular term. In Egypt, it's every month, there's something new. So that was something to quote unquote adapt to. But I figured that out as soon as I got there, right? And there's these elements where I think, in essence, it's kind of your nervous system looking to or searching for this particular feeling until you're going to do it, but that's never going to happen. You have to expose yourself to the uncomfort to actually experience the hijrah. And there's not going to be this perfect image in front of you that will make you do this. This, I think, is a deeper thing that your body is looking for.
Yeah, and I think as long as you stay in your comfort zone, as long as you stay in your country, it's hard for you to understand that, okay, Allah is going to take care of me, like no matter what. And I didn't really realize this also until like growing up, experiencing experiences, moving to different countries. Once I moved to a different country, I saw all the khair that Allah brought me from moving to that country. And after that, I knew, okay, I can go to another country from here. If I move to this country, Allah is going to make a way for me, just like He made a way for me here. Exactly. We have to remember the ayah, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلُ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. So whoever fears Allah, Allah will make for him a way out. Yeah. You may not know exactly everything right now, but Allah is definitely going to make a way for you. Yeah. And we just have to have tawakkul in Allah, take the asbab, like you said, take the means, and then make the move. When I went to Egypt for the first time also, I had no idea about Egypt. I didn't know anybody from there. Well, I knew some Egyptian Americans, but I didn't know anything about where I was going. I just knew that we're going to go there to learn Arabic. Khalas, we went. And then after I got there, I learned everything. And then it was the same way with Mauritania. At that time, there was nothing really online about Mauritania. The only thing we could find was just people in the badia, in the desert. We couldn't find anyone in the actual city, and that's where we wanted to go. So it wasn't actually until we left that we figured out, okay, this is here, that's there. And alhamdulillah, Allah made it so easy. We found the masjid. So we did look up a particular mahdara online before we left. We looked up two, and we said, okay, we're either going to go here or go there. Yeah. So we got there, we saw the first mahdara, which is a Quran center. And right in front of it, there was an apartment, and it was the only apartment available in the entire neighborhood. So immediately we took it. Look how Allah, He made the means for us after we made the move. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. We didn't know that would happen, but Allah made it happen. So,
and subhanAllah, I feel like in this age, like there's always someone who's paved the way before you. So much like, now there's so many sisters that want to make hijrah, but there's so many sisters that have made hijrah. Connect with someone who's done what you want to do, who's paved the way, who's in front of you, who's living the life that you want to live, and say, hey, Assalamu alaikum, I'm really serious about doing the same thing. Can you just tell me these and these details if you absolutely feel like you need like these details? And then at one point you just have to take action. Yeah. You just book your ticket and you go. You can't just sit and get more information. That's not leading anywhere. When I went to Malaysia, I just found one sister online. She lived in this village on this island that I wanted to go to. And I just asked a few questions. She kind of gave me a broad photo, a picture of it. And I said, Bismillah, I went there and everything settled once I got there. I'm still sitting here alive, right? What are we really scared of? Are we scared that we're going to die? Are we scared that we're going to just, live homelessly in the street. I'm not sure what the true fear is, but, we just have to go for it. Allah will open doors for you and facilitate for you.
So the next point after that, the second point is the place where I'm going isn't safe, or is it safe?
Is it?
We hear this a lot. Is this country safe? So I want to ask first, what do you mean by safety? Majority of the time, I feel like they mean, if I go on the street, am I going to get robbed, or is someone going to attack me? Things like that. However, there are different types of safety. There's physical safety, there's mental and emotional safety, and there's the safety of your deen. So let's talk about that, the physical safety part. How was your physical safety when you were in Norway?
Norway.
Yes.
So, as a practicing Muslimah, obviously, we're commanded to dress a certain way. And I would say in most European countries, that provokes a lot of people. So I've had experiences where at one point I was 7 months pregnant and walking in the street with my niqab, and a woman tried to physically run me over with her car. While doing that, she showed me her finger and was cursing at me. So, and just a few weeks prior to that, I had a guy spit at me in the street in the middle of Oslo. That actually became kind of a big thing because someone filmed it and put it out.
No way.
Yeah. Obviously, I went to the police in both of these cases. In both of the cases, they were, how do you say it in English? Basically, they just left the case. They didn't proceed. They said there's not enough evidence, or that guy was actually taken, but they said that he had mental health issues.
Come on.
So, physically, I would say that, I've been now 7 years on Hijrah. I've lived in Cairo, I've lived in Medina, and I've lived in Malaysia. And I've never experienced anything uncomfortable in these countries. I have, however, experienced a lot of uncomfortable situations in Norway. And in the West, I also had a very uncomfortable situation happen to me in Denmark. So I personally, from my years of experience, feel it's not safe as a Muslimah, visually a Muslimah in the West. And that is, like you said, that's just from the physical side of things. But if we start talking about the mental, emotional part and protection, safety of your iman, I would say it's even worse. So in a country like Norway and in most European countries today, it is very interesting because I actually had this discussion with a friend the other day. She's Russian, so she comes from a completely different perception, so to speak. And she was like, in Russia, the police might take your husband, throw him in jail, you never see him again. But in Europe, they come from under the table, where they indoctrinate your kids from kindergarten age throughout school, right? To become atheists, to become homosexuals, to have a certain perception, again, of cause and effect. And they completely destroy your mindset. And they make Muslims so weak. And if they can't break you, like we've seen this particularly in the Somali community in Norway, they literally come and take your child services. Obviously, Norway has the worst child services in the world. I've had issues with child services myself. And it's for no reason, no particular reason. They just make up reasons. And they will take your child and put them, or your child, in either an atheist home or homosexual home. And it is really this is where the point where I find it very interesting that any Muslim who live in these countries will say, no, Hijrah is not an obligation. You can stay as long as I can freely practice my religion. I don't know of any European country where you can freely practice your religion as a Muslimah. I don't believe in it. And I think that for example, some men, some brothers who are, dressing normally, maybe they have a beard, but they fit in, right? If they have this perception of things, I don't think they know what's really going on. And maybe they don't have kids yet. Maybe they'll only experience this once they have kids and see the real picture. But the mindset war that's going on, the war against Iman that's going on in Europe is extremely, extremely intense. And as you might know, in many of these countries, you're not allowed to fully homeschool either, or there's so many regulations around homeschooling that you can't really control this. So I just think that if your objection truly is safety, then you would have flown out yesterday. You would have been on a flight yesterday to Cairo or to Medina or Malaysia or whatever it might be.
Yeah, definitely. Like there's so many layers of this, but it was something that you said about in Norway. I also figured this out for the first time when I met a family from Denmark in Mauritania. There was actually a family there from Denmark, and they were telling me exact same thing that you're telling me. On top of that, they said in the kindergartens there, first of all, you can't homeschool, right? In the kindergartens there, they have this time where the kids take their clothes off and they can explore each other's bodies.
This is,
I was like,
completely normal in
what?
Scandinavia. It's seen as something good. It's seen as if you don't do that, your child might be sexually deviant. So, they have to understand their body. You'll also find that in kindergarten, they have a lot of, obviously, books. And these books are particularly about, homosexuality, two moms having a daughter or a son, two fathers. There's also a lot of nudity in the books, like a lot of nudity. And, Oscar, this is a name, Oscar is exploring his own body. And then there's a naked photo of so this is completely normal. Yeah.
That's insane. That's definitely insane. To touch on the homosexual topic, in America now, they're really, really trying to push this now. Yeah. Of course, ever since the homosexual marriage was made legal, now they're in the schools. They want to have books that are mom, dad. If you say anything against it, no, that's not allowed. All things like this, right? So that in and of itself, that they want you to believe a certain thing. Right. They want you to believe that this is right, and whatever you believe, no, it's wrong. And on top of that, in America, let's not even just talk about that, but for a long time, African Americans, Black Americans, what safety is there for Black Americans? My brothers, I have 8 brothers, by the way. If they're walking the street, a police would just come to them and say, "What are you doing? Why are you walking here?" Et cetera, et cetera. They get sent to prison without even anything against them. Also, just years and years of oppression. When you're in the street, you don't even feel safe when you see the police, to be honest. As a Black American, when I'm driving down the street, when I see a police car, I don't feel safe. I feel like, oh my God, where's my seatbelt? Like, the police culture in America is something to be inspected, because when I see the police there, I'm scared. But for example, when I see the police in Egypt, like, come on. Yeah. The difference is insane. You're not worried about, oh, he's going to pull me over and then make something up and I can get sent to prison, or he's just going to give me a ticket for this, that, and a third. Like, driving in Egypt, I feel such at peace, okay? I'm not afraid of the police. I'm not afraid of someone kind of come up to me and do something, alhamdulillah. So when I hear people say, is it safe? That's why I get confused. Do you actually feel safe when you're driving in America with the police and things like that? No, Black people don't feel safe. Yeah, oh, you can call 911 for the ambulance. Alhamdulillah, you can call 911 for the ambulance. You can feel safe with, like, if your house is burning or if you have an injury. Yeah, absolutely. In that terms, yeah. However, outside of that, no. And also, as physical safety, I would say in Egypt, usually they're talking about, like how I said before, is someone gonna rob me? Is someone gonna still attack me, right? Do people not rob people in America? Do people not kill people in America? Right. Okay, let's talk about, in America, guns are illegal. In America, mass shootings are normal. This is something where someone goes in with a gun and just starts shooting everyone. This happens in schools on a normal basis. Does this happen in other countries? Do you know any other country where there's just mass shootings in schools? No, okay? That never happens in Egypt. So I feel like people, when they say, is it safe? They're looking at every minuscule occurrence that's bad in this country, while they ignore all of the bad things in their own country that they're coming from. So I feel like it's not even like the scale of like looking at a country to move to. It's not an even scale, because you're gonna nitpick every bad thing of that country, while in your country, oh no, it's fine. You're sitting there in your country and you're not talking about the bad things that are happening in your country. So it doesn't make sense to me.
So on that topic, Norway is, I think it's seen as the safest country on the planet. It's kind of ranking up there. And so when it comes to robberies, I never experienced that violence like you're talking about in the US. It's completely unknown to me. But I'd rather, and even with that, I'd rather get robbed, lose my iPhone in Egypt, never happened, but let's say it happened, than to make kufr and go to Jahannam, because that is what they're constantly working on in me, in our kids, in school. So, I mean, it's fine. I lose my iPhone. What's the problem? But to lose my akhirah, you can't even compare it. Like, what are we really asking for? And in Norway, again, we said in the beginning, there's three ways of looking at safety. Now, in Norway, it's seen as so safe, but at the same time, it has the highest suicide rate in the world. I believe after Japan. So, what about the emotional safety, the mental safety? Obviously, there's something lacking there that pushes people. In my circle of my good friends, I've had 2 people commit suicide. And from the outside, I'm just thinking, how could that happen? You have everything you need. You have the dunya, but they still had something lacking on the inside that forced them, or not forced them, but made them feel that was the only option to take. So mental health is obviously, they also say, it's on our agenda, it's so important, we talk about it, we have to do something. But I think this also goes back to, if you look at the countries with the highest suicide rates, they're often countries without religion, without iman, without any purpose of life. Because what's the point? If that's the belief system that you're enforcing the population, they feel hopeless. Like, what's the point of all of this? So we know as Muslims that this is just a test for the akhirah, for the internal life. So why are we so obsessed? I just think it's an objection that is just fluff. But okay, I get robbed, so what? Right? Like, if it happens, I get robbed, okay, so what? Right? Versus losing my iman, losing my akhirah, feeling depressed and lonely and just horrible about life, and losing that is not a path I'd take. I'd rather just lose my iPhone. So I think that I also think this goes back to the whole, like, how have we been conditioned? What have we been conditioned to believe? We've been conditioned to believe that safety is a certain path. You get education, you get a job, you buy a house, you have stability and safety in a wonderful country such as Norway. But then that is just, something that we've been kind of conditioned to believe, when we should believe that this life is a test, and we take the steps that we need to take to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that we can have internal success, right? So again, if that was something that, if I'm sitting in the audience right now and that is like a concern for me. I would really try to go to figure out what's the root cause of me believing this. What has happened in my belief system? How have I been conditioned and trained to, what have I been conditioned and trained to believe that is now making this the main type of block between me and making hijrah and doing something for the sake of Allah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, you know, if you take a step closer to me, I come running towards you. So what has happened in my belief system?
Yeah, I think that's a clear proof, what you said about Norway being the highest country in safety, but also the highest country in suicide. So if you're safe, if you're clean, if you're et cetera, good thing, does that translate to you being happy or content or at peace?
Right. Or getting
Clearly,
closer to
it
Allah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have iman billah, you don't believe that there's an afterlife, whatever happens in this life, it's everything. Like, this is happening in this life. There's nothing else after this. I'm just living in misery. Khalas, like, just die, basically, because you don't believe anything is going to be better after this. So I think that's very dangerous to have that mindset, because you'll just live in yets. Well, how do you say yets in English? Yets? The opposite of hope.
You're asking the
Sorry.
Norwegian girl.
So yets is when you don't have hope. You're just like, khalas, nothing good is going to happen. I give up. Right? So that's the way that you're living your life. So what's the point after that? Exactly. And I also believe when it comes to mindset, in the West, if you watch TV, you will always see on TV constantly, Africa. Africa is always, feed the poor. These children are poor. They're starving. They're skinny. Literally, they'll have ads like all throughout my childhood. I can remember these ads. So Americans, they truly believe that the entirety of Africa is poor. You will find so many Muslims, Allahul Musta'an, they don't consider Africa as a destination to move to. They believe it's only Saudi, only the Gulf countries, and that's it. And I find that to be very concerning, because if you don't do your own research, if you don't do your own exploring, then you're basically accepting what the government is feeding you, what the kuffar are feeding you, what they want you to believe. Everywhere else is bad. America is better. And people actually internalize this without knowing it.
Exactly.
They don't believe that they think this way, but they actually do. And you can see it when they think about other countries as far as hijrah, and they'll say, no, I would never consider, they won't even consider it.
Right.
For me, before I went to Egypt, this was 2012, so this was right after the revolution. And before I went, we started hearing like a lot of stuff like, stuff is going on, like explosions, people are doing protests and stuff like that. So some people were saying to me like, is it like actually safe? You might want to go right now. And then I remember, I think it was my father. He was like, basically don't worry about that or something like that. So we went, and when we went, we didn't see anything that was happening on the news. Like, of course, they had protests and stuff going on, but that's not every single place in the country. It's just like, if you look at the news of America from outside of America, you might see the mass shootings going on. You might see people just shooting each other all the time. The hurricanes, like, because we have like hurricane season. Like, you'll see crazy weather and stuff like that. So if you look from afar and you're not there, you'll believe that the whole entire place is like this. So outside looking in, that's your perception. You won't know the actual reality until you're in that actual place. And it's the same thing when you make hijrah. You can see everything that you want to see on the TV, but you won't actually know that place until you get there. So I feel like when you're actually making these, thinking about hijrah, doing these what do you call it? Asking about what people say. Okay, you take it, but at the same time, you have to experience yourself. The third point is, if it's hard, it means I chose wrong. What do you feel about that?
I think this is a very interesting one. I have seen quite a few sisters come, stay for a bit, feel a bit uncomfortable because anything that's new is uncomfortable, and then just be like, oh no, this was the wrong decision that I made. And I think that this goes back to kind of, again, you're from the West, you used a certain lifestyle. We are spoiled. We're extremely spoiled. And I think when you've been on Hijrah, or if you've been on Hijrah for a certain amount of time, you meet people from the East. You meet people from the South. You meet people from far away from the Western mentality. And they inspire, at least me personally, so much because their resilience is a whole nother level. I've met sisters who are from Russia, other Russian-speaking countries, who are selling bread outside of the masajids. And I'm like, Assalamu alaikum, like, where's your husband? What's going on? And she's like, my husband, I haven't seen him for 15 years. Like, how is that?
15?
Yeah, like 15 years.
I know.
Like one day police came, took him. I haven't seen him since, don't know really where he is.
Wow.
And she made a conscious decision of making hijrah with her kids. And now she's selling bread to make it happen. Is that comfortable? You think that's comfortable? It's not comfortable. Yet some of us spoiled kids, we come from the West, we come straight into a fancy apartment in Medinati, Cairo, and we're like, oh no, it's so cold, the floor is cold and it's uncomfortable and I don't understand. It's very unfortunate that Muslims have become like this, that we have so weak mindset that anything can break us. I think it's just sad. And I think currently I'm in this, I'm like obsessing about, I have periods where I obsess about different authors. And I'm currently reading the books of Tony Robbins. I think it's so inspirational. He speaks about, the 3 things you really need to do to increase the value or the impact and the meaningfulness in your life. And the first one is increase your standards. Increase your standards, like hold yourself to higher standards. And secondly is work on your limiting beliefs. And once you actually start believing that you can do more things, that you can achieve more, then you start taking the last point, which is the right tools, the right strategies to achieving that. So, people say, I decided to make hijrah. Decide is a word that comes from Latin. It actually means to cut off. It means to commit yourself to achieving a certain outcome and cut yourself off from the alternatives. So deciding is something you actively have to do. It doesn't mean that you're going to be comfortable, but you decide that I'm going to make hijrah and I'm not even thinking about the other alternatives. And I think that that's not what we're doing. I think that the Muslims that are coming and they're like, oh, it was so uncomfortable, I went back. That's because you've actually left alternatives for yourself. Cut off the alternatives. Cut it off. You are committing 100% to something that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to something that brings you closer to Him, to something that He loves for you to do, and He will certainly facilitate for you. Why are you allowing all of these alternatives on the table? And that's why you fall back. No one said it's comfortable. It's not comfortable going to the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning, but that's what's needed in order for you to achieve certain things that you want health-wise, right? Nothing, and I think that, especially us in the West, we have this saying in Norwegian where we say, under your armpits are pillows, so you're just so spoiled. Right?
Yeah.
And in Norway, you have a social service system that if you don't have a job, you always have something to fall back on. When I meet the sisters from Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, I can't even spell the country, Tajikistan, Russia, these sisters, there's a whole nother mindset. There's no fallback.
Yeah.
So they just go for things 100%. Families, my friend, cancer, 4 kids, husband, they don't have any stability. They just make it work. She sells stuff, he sells stuff. They make it work. They're living in Medina now for a few years. Every year, they need to come up with $10,000 to renew the visa. Every year, Allah facilitates for them. Every year they have the 10,000, just the day before, boom, $10,000. They make it work. So I honestly, I have no doubt anymore that the mindset, your understanding of what you can achieve by the will of Allah is either what pushes you forward and to achieve great things, or it's holding you back and you're going to live a very simple life. And if we look at, Islamic history and the golden age of Islam, do you think their mindset were as the mindset we have today?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. They went out traveling for months to a place they did not know if the hadith was sahih am la. They didn't know. They heard there's this man in this qarya, in this village far away, where he says that he heard the Prophet ﷺ قال كذا وكذا. Okay, I will go and I will investigate. They traveled all the way. They might come all the way and be disappointed to find out this is a liar or this is, but they still went out. And we literally can go and fly first class from New York straight to whatever country. We can eat caviar on the way there, right? It's insane. And still we have this, we're so weak. We've limited ourselves to a certain belief system that is keeping us small, and we don't have any impact.
Yeah, that's deep, because Hijrah during the time of the Prophet and those after sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very, very difficult. You're walking, you're either riding a camel, you're riding a horse in the sun, in the desert, no protection, there's no hotels like you just stop at. No, you're sleeping on the sand. Yeah. And that was difficult. So now, like you said, when people say it's difficult, like, come on. What is your standard of something that's difficult? And I feel like when you make hijrah, you have to have the mindset, okay, if something is hard, how can I get around it? What can I do to improve my situation? My faucet has a leak. Okay, where can I go to get the thing to change it? Like, you have to be thinking of ways to adapt and move forward. A Muslim is mutafa'il. You have to be, a mutafa'il in English is optimist. A Muslim cannot be mutasha'im, which is the opposite of a optimist, a pessimist. Because, okay, if you're a pessimist, everything that happens, I can't do this, this happened, my car broke down, and you never seek to find a solution for things that happen in your life. So the Muslim is always mutafa'il. If something happens, think of the things that you can do to improve your situation. Have good thoughts of Allah. I'm here, I made hijrah. If I make hijrah, this is something, what is it that you said earlier? That hijrah is a big part of Islam. Like, it's not just like a small thing. Like, it's a major good deed, act of worship that you're doing for Allah. So whatever happens during that time, of course you're going to be struggle. You need to expect to struggle. But at the same time, Allah is going to help you through that. And whatever struggles come, you're going to realize later on in your life that all those struggles that you had when you made hijrah or when you did that specific thing, it's shaping you into a better person, into a stronger person. And you're going to look back on it. You're going to say, subhanAllah, like, if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't have done this. For example, if I didn't go to Egypt, would I have learned Arabic myself from America? My thought wasn't even to learn Arabic ever. Like, I never thought that was possible as a non-Arabic speaker. Like, it just wasn't in my mind until I went to Egypt and I saw all people from all over the world studying Arabic. So then I knew, this can actually happen. And then from that day forward, Allah just kept opening new doors for me. So you have to know that when you make a step toward Allah, Allah is going to open so many doors for you. And whatever struggle you're dealing with now, it's going to be nothing in a year from now, 2 years.
Exactly. And I think, like you said, like, growth happens outside of your comfort zone. So you can only achieve great things in your life if you are willing to feel uncomfortable. Read the story of the Salaf. Salama radiallahu anha, what happened to her when she made hijrah? She made hijrah alone as a woman. They took her son from her, and did she stay?
Salama?
Salama. Did she stay? She didn't stay. She still left. She stayed, made hijrah. So why are we today? Oh, it's difficult. I don't find the food that I like. It's actually kind of ridiculous when you think about it. It's very, very unfortunate. It's extremely sad that a Muslim has been reduced to this, that we have reduced ourselves to these types of excuses. And so let's go back to read the stories of the Salaf, what they endured, what they went through, what kind of decisions they made, actual decisions. Because it's, again, information is just information. It's not going to change you. It's decisions, it's motion, it's taking action. So you get inspired by the Salaf, and then you implement it in your life. It's not enough to read. You can read 1,000,000 stories. It's just storytelling in your head if you're not acting upon it. We are commanded to act upon the teachings. So let's try to, when we have these low moments, we go back to that. We read the stories. We kind of re-inspire ourselves, right? To feel motivated, to go through you want to call it suffering? Call it suffering. But the best way is to actually, like you said, have husn al-dhan billah. So don't use words like suffering or it's so hard. Try to reconstruct how you're speaking to yourself also. And Allah, surely He's going to open doors for me. It's just difficult now. It's going to get so much easier. I'm for sure going to get so much better. I'm going to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through this experience, and try to change the conversation you're having with yourself.
Okay, so now the fourth and final objection. I don't have money. So let's speak on that. What is the minimal amount of money we would need to pay in each of these countries?
Okay. So obviously I just have the context of Saudi, Egypt, and Malaysia.
Okay.
So I'm just going to jump into Malaysia first. Now, obviously it depends what kind of lifestyle you want. Personally, I lived in a village because I wanted to live in front of the beach, in a village with outer, peace. And there, you could eat, and I had a house and a car. And it was ridiculously affordable, I would say. It was under $300 a month for a house, landed house.
And a car?
And a car. So that was, and you can imagine, and food is very affordable. You get, the fisherman comes fresh in the morning. There's a wet market in the morning. You grab your fresh fish. Your chicken is just slaughtered in front of you. So, obviously with $1,000, you can live very well.
Wow.
So that is, obviously I was out on an island. If you're going the closer you get to KL, the capital, obviously the more you pay. I went, however, over to Cyberjaya, which is one of the suburbs to the capital, KL, where a lot of muhajirun do live. And I went to one of those compounds that have, swimming pools in your building, in the compound, tennis court, basketball court, gyms, all the things.
All of that?
All the things. And the rent there was this was a furnished apartment, 3 bedrooms. I wouldn't say it was small, but very nice finishing, very nice kitchen, everything. That was 2,300 ringgit. So guys,
Ringgit.
now is your time to open your
exchange.
So that is about $500 something.
Oh, how many bedrooms?
Sorry?
How many bedrooms?
3.
3 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Yeah. No, 1 bathroom.
In all those facilities?
In all of that.
And how much is it in dollars?
About $500 something.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah, so it's pretty affordable for what you get.
Yeah.
Obviously, then car there is probably a bit more expensive than out on the island. But I think, let's say if you have 1,500 a month, you probably live comfortable. It really depends on the car situation, I would believe, because car probably would be a bit more expensive to rent. So it depends on your transportation, and obviously schools, depending again where your kids are going and what kind of lifestyle you're living. But if we're just talking about the basics there, right?
Right.
And then in Saudi, you pay something like for 1 year, because then you have to pay upfront for a year for an apartment, which is about 3 rooms, 2 bathrooms, you pay 20,000 SAR, so that is Saudi Riyal, for a year, which I believe is, and guys, do check your phones, is about 6,000 euro or dollars.
For the entire year.
For the entire year.
12 months.
12 months.
So that's 6,000 divided by 12. That's per month.
Yeah, that's per month, but you have to pay up front.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people that, they're not in Jamia or things like that, you have to pay for iqama, which is going to be around $5,000 a month. A year.
$5,000?
For 1 year.
The iqama is $5,000
for a year. It really depends on who you find, because sometimes they will give you 1 year, sometimes 2 years.
But is that one person or like the family?
Again, this really depends on the kafil, because I'm not sure to what degree this is. This is not the, how do I say this? This is kind of under the table, if that makes sense. So it depends what kind of person do you find to hook you up with this. And then transportation, you need to have a car in Saudi for sure. So you'll rent something for around 2,000 a month, which is about, I think, again, $600 or euros a month. And then groceries, I would say, compared to the other Muslim countries that I lived in, is just much higher. Like meat, fish, if you want to live like wholesome, I would say it's pretty close to European prices. Coffee, and in relation to that, I think Malaysia and Egypt is like at least half the price of Saudi in groceries, in food items, etc. But I would say, 1,500 in Malaysia, depending on place, obviously, and Saudi, it's a bit harder to say because you have a lot of upfront costs. Yeah.
Well, rent and iqama basically are the main things, and then you have to add everything else after that.
Exactly, but I would say Saudi is a country where you need a car. Like I wouldn't say you need a car in Egypt, but in Saudi you can obviously do Ubers and whatnot. But again, much more expensive than
Okay. So that's Saudi and Malaysia. So for Egypt, the minimal rent. Minimal rent is a range, but in, say, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Hayy al-Ashir, Nasser City, it would be $300 minus or plus or minus. Yeah. So it could be less than that or it could be more than that. It just depends on the area. I know some people, they have like apartments that are like $150 a month. Or $200 a month. So it just depends on where you are. And then for the other nicer areas, it would be actually kind of like in Medinati and Rehab. Some of the apartments are kind of the same prices, but a little bit higher. So it just depends where you live. As far as food in Egypt is way cheaper than food in America. Yeah. In America, I could not live off of Uber Eats. Just tell you that right now, the delivery service that gives you food. But in Egypt, I could live off of Uber Eats. If it was just me, I could live off of that for a month, on a monthly basis. What else? School. Alhamdulillah, school is very affordable. Yeah. If you want to study at the Marrakech, it just depends where you go. But the typical price for a Marrakech per month, 2.5 hours a day, 5 days a week, you're going to be looking at between, let's say, $50 and $90 on the typical side. And what else? That's school. Yeah, pretty much that's it. Yeah. It's very affordable living in Egypt. A bedroom, maybe like a 1-bedroom house in America is probably going to get you $1,000 or more dollars. Whereas in Egypt, you could get 3 bedrooms, 2 baths for $300 or less. So,
just to add to that, I have a friend, a sister here. She lives on 500 euros a month. It's her and her son, and that's what she lives off. Apartment, everything. She studies, he studies. And I had another family that used to live here 2 years ago. They're over in Medina now. So there's a husband, it's the wife, and 4 kids, and they used to live around $1,000 a month. So it's
4 kids, you said?
4 kids.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah.
And they're all in they were all in Ibana. So that
They were all in Ibana?
Yeah, they were all in Ibana. So that
Yes.
is, I think that's if we're talking minimum range, that's more than enough.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then Mauritania, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, back then when we were there, which was like 2019, the prices could have changed by now, but it was 200. The place that we were in, it was like 200 Great British pounds.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that is in
$250.
Yeah, maybe $250. But that was like higher. Remember, we were in the most expensive neighborhood in the whole of Mauritania, the most expensive city and neighborhood. And the price for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath was 200 Great British pounds. And then, but that was more. My friend, she was living in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. That was like $150. She was just paying $150 a month. And then food, I can't really talk about food. There's so many years passed from then to now. But just think about it. Living in America, there's no way you're going to pay $200 for your apartment, much less a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. The food is also expensive compared to there. So, yeah. So when we talk about money, you have money to pay for your apartment in America, right?
Yeah.
So that's more than the money that you would be paying in all of these countries, most likely.
Yeah, for sure.
But then they'll say, okay, but I work in my country.
Yeah.
So how would I leave my job and still get paid?
Yeah.
What do you have to say to that?
How to make the money I need to leave. So I would say, like, basically there's 4 things. Either you outperform in your job, and 6 months in, you ask your employer, hey, can I continue online? If you have a job that allows for that physically to happen. I have a sister, a friend that did that. Alhamdulillah, she was able to do that. Number 2 is you look for another job online that is just, you look for jobs online that are for remote working online. Number 3 is you start your own business, like you did, like I did. And number 4 is that you have a rich uncle that pay for you. Or, so a lot of the Kazakhis, Uzbekis, right? They have sort of family members that all pitch into one pot that goes to this particular family. And I think other than that, I mean, those are your options. But then people will be like, okay, you know, my job won't allow me to work online. I can't find a remote job. I tried before. I can't start a business because I have no skills and I don't have a rich uncle. So what would you say to that?
So, number 1, you can't, your employer doesn't allow you to work overseas? Okay, done.
Yeah.
You can't find an online job? Keep looking. Number 3, you don't have any skills. Learn a skill.
Learn a skill.
How many skills are there in this world that you can learn and also profit off of it? And it could be anything. For example, I didn't know Arabic at first, but I went to school to learn it.
Yeah.
So you could learn something that you're actually interested in already, or that you actually do already, and offers that service to other sisters. And the last thing was?
Your uncle.
Your uncle. None of us have a rich uncle. Maybe we do, but let's not rely on that one.
Yeah. So I think, you know, learning skills, if you've been someone who's been thinking about Hijrah, talking about Hijrah for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, then I want to ask you, what have you done in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to actually learn a skill, or to actually take some sort of real means or sabab to get closer to your goal? Like, have you actually done anything? Have you taken any certifications? Have you, gone to school or something to study so that you could get that online job that you thought about getting, but you didn't get it because you weren't qualified? Have you started learning and practicing some sort of skill yourself that you can sell? Like Fatima, who didn't know Arabic, now she's fluent in Arabic, and now her institute, she has an institute teaching other women how to learn Arabic, right? So what are we really doing? Again, it goes back to the whole, are we taking decisions? Are we taking action? Are we taking the asbab that are in front of us? We're from the West, a lot of us. There's so many things you can do. There's so many opportunities around us.
Teaching English is very popular also overseas, teaching English. You could get a certificate in teaching English. And then if you're actually doing it yourself though, like you have your own service, that's even easier, right? Because you have your own service, you offer it online, and you would just have to work on advertising and the business aspect of it. Because you already have the skill, you know English. Doesn't mean you know how to teach it though. So learn how to teach it first, then offer your service.
Exactly.
Something you already have.
I mean, I feel personally as someone who's, a business coach, if you know the skill of marketing and sales, you can sell anything.
Yes.
So learn the skill of marketing and sales, and you can sell any service that's out there. So it goes back to how do you know how to advertise yourself and to make people feel like you have the solution that they're looking for. And
so would you suggest learning that first? So anyone could basically learn marketing and sales first, and then they could figure out what they want to do with the marketing and sales.
Either way, I mean, I feel like all of us have something that we're personally passionate about. Like you're passionate about Arabic. This sister's passionate about homeschooling. She's passionate about, parenting, tarbiyah. Okay, great. Maybe you have, your own personal experience of doing that for a certain amount of years. Now, just learn marketing and skills and sales. How do you package that into an offer, into a service that someone actually wants to buy, right? English, you just mentioned English. So many of the sisters born in native English language speakers, I have so many friends here, Kazakhs, Uzbekis, they want to learn English. They want their kids to learn English. They're like, I don't know who, I don't know where, I can't pay for the big courses, okay. Where is the sisters that actually offer these services to practicing Muslimas that want that? I know of tons who want it.
Wow.
I keep being asked all the time, like, where's the English? Where's the sisters that teach English? So where's these services? True. I have tons of sisters asking me, for example, I was just thinking about her the other day. Nadira, the Hijrah coach, right? Like so many people ask me, where can I get advice about Hijrah? Hey, go to Nadira, right? Go to Nadira, you work on your mindset. And I think there's so many sisters looking for solutions in the Muslima market, but we do not find people that are offering the solutions. Because we, as Muslims, are scared of stepping into that unknown and offering something outside of our comfort zone, when in fact, other Muslims are indeed looking for it. So I was looking for someone to teach my son particular things like English, that he had someone to speak to, read, etc. Hey, where are you guys? Right?
That reminds me of a quote someone said. I just heard it the other day. He said, we don't need more Muslim apps or Muslim things, meaning like Muslim Pro, like Muslim Pro, something that says Muslim in it. We need more Muslims creating apps or creating services in general. It doesn't have to be like a Muslim service, like specifically Islamic studies or specifically Arabic. We need Muslims offering everything, English, math, business, every subject that you would need in your life, basically. We need Muslims doing that. So we would be relying on the Muslims for all of these different things that we rely on the non-Muslims for. And then we would be circulating that money into the Muslim community.
Exactly. That's beautiful.
So you don't need to think of like, okay, a Muslim thing, like has to be Arabic or Quran. No, it could be anything. Halal, obviously, but you offer that service in it.
Exactly. So on that topic, what are you currently working on?
Okay, what am I working on? So we're currently still in the middle of the semester for my Arabic for Busy Mothers course. So we're not opening new spots just yet for that. However, over the course of the years, so many years, I've always gotten so many questions from sisters who want to learn Arabic, who have started learning Arabic, but they have questions like, how do I memorize vocabulary? How do I memorize verbs? How do I study? How do I memorize the qawaid, the rules of grammar or sarf and things like that? So I find myself saying these things a lot of times. So I thought, why don't I just make something to help these sisters out? So what I'm creating now is a Taliba Arabiya handbook. So you want to learn Arabic? It's about, telling you how to memorize words, how to do these specific things. Also the mindset when you are learning Arabic, when you are a student of knowledge in general, you have to have a certain mindset. How to be a stronger student, because there are so many times that you're going to feel like, oh, I want to quit. Oh, this is too hard. What's going to help you keep going? So inshallah, gonna bring that out soon. We have a waiting list now. If anyone wants to join, they can click the link in the bio.
MashaAllah. Allah Mubarak. In the bio? Under that.
That's a bio, right? Down there.
That's nice to hear. I'm really happy. Happy to hear that you are, pushing through, exactly showing what we've been speaking about today, right?
Yeah.
Which is, just take action.
Yeah.
Do the things.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it also forces you, basically.
Yeah.
Making that hijrah forces you to take the action because, okay, you're in hijrah, you have to pay bills, you have to pay your school. How are you going to do that? Forces you to create whatever it is that you need to. So
Absolutely, it does.
طيب, so we've come to the end, and I just wanted to pose a question back at the audience. So the question was, what is the best country for hijrah, or where should I make hijrah to? The question we need to be asking, though, is what? What should we be asking, honestly?
What kind of person do I need to become in order to make hijrah?
Haqq.